Hey there, my name is Amy and I'm so happy to have you here with me. One of my biggest goals for the next 10 years is to put myself in a position where I don't have to work anymore. But I'm not the kind of person who won't actually be working. So when I say this, what I mean is I have set up enough things that I love doing and that I'm passionate about that are supporting me financially, where I work only because I choose to and not because I have to, where my life is just a full embodiment of freedom of time. I think that this is so important to all of us. And I think that it's not so much about not working for many of us, it's more about whatever we're doing for that work being something that we love and enjoy and that we're passionate about. I definitely don't want to put pressure on myself to turn the things I love into the things that have to support me. But I do think that if we're really intentional about what we're doing and learning how to create a life that feels really good to us, it's absolutely possible, and it's something that I believe every one of us deserves to have. In this video, I am going to share with you 3 of the main ways that I plan to focus on over the next specifically 10 years so that I have that time freedom that I am seeking and wanting. I just turned 40, and so it's felt like it's given me this major opportunity to say, okay, I'm walking into a new decade, a new chapter. What do I want to do? I feel really proud of my last 10 years, but I think that that was a lot of kind of learning and healing and building a really solid foundation for myself. And this next 10 years, I feel like I get to really apply a lot of it. Now, I will be learning probably so much because so much of what I want to embark on is going to be fairly new. And I always believe that I am forever a student. Every one of us is. It's when we close ourselves off to that we stop learning. And I think that that's such a huge part of why we're here, is to really evolve and to continue discovering who we are and the world around us. I also want to mention really fast that I did study finance. I have a degree in finance, and so I plan to weave in conversations around money, not only this video, but future videos as well, because it's something I'm really passionate about, and I did not grow up with money. In fact, I learned pretty much everything not to do. There was a ton of scarcity in my family growing up. It is still there, and I have had to work so hard to create a different reality for myself and choose different beliefs and become aware of the things that were not serving me and really improve my money habits and create money habits that were good. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do know quite a bit about this, and so I want to share as a way to maybe just spark some inspiration in you or answer a question that you might have or anything like that. But that's a huge part of all of this, is me really just being able to share the things that have been extremely hard for me, that are often not talked about, and do it in a way though where it's really just being woven into the rest of my life in a way where it feels like, for both of us, just 2 friends getting together to have a conversation, to hang out, to spend some time together, and know that anything that I'm sharing is really just coming from a place of, if something works for you and helps you gain some insight, then that's amazing, but never because I want to seem like I am telling anybody what they should or shouldn't do, because I believe that we each get to have these beautiful experiences, and we all are the ones that know what's going to be best for us ultimately. But I also think there's so much power in sharing our own stories with each other. So one of the ways I'm going to do this is I am going to buy my next home as a home that will be an investment property. Before I get into this, I want to preface by saying that I don't have all of this extra money in order to do this. What I'm doing is making the most out of a situation that has not actually been ideal. I own a home with somebody. We are no longer together, and we had to make really hard decisions in that. And one of the decisions that I made was that I would not keep it. It has been one of the hardest decisions I've ever made. And so I'm at a place now where I'm saying, what can I do to make the most of this situation and to apply everything I've been studying for the last 10 years? I've been studying real estate investing for that long. I have worked as a real estate accountant for a very long time and in property management. I do have quite a bit of knowledge, although there are moments when I feel like I don't know anything and what the heck am I doing? To make the most of this and to know that I've really made some smart decisions for me, 10 years from now, I am looking for a property that I can rent out. Whether that is short or long term, I also ideally would like a place that's perhaps a duplex so that initially I could stay in there, test out the short term. There's a lot of ways I might go about this, and so I'm not getting into that a whole lot yet simply because I don't have a solid answer, and that's the same reason I'm actually not talking to people in my personal life about it, because everybody's got an opinion. And I know people usually mean well, but for me, the only time I really regret something is when I let other people's opinions influence me. So yes, I am trying to narrow down a location, the right kind of property for me. There are so many ways you can go about this. Real estate is generally a really good way to invest your money, and I want to do it in a way where I am obviously getting a return on that, but not in a way where I'm taking advantage of anybody, because I know that there can be a lot of, just icky feelings around that. And another thing I really want to do with all of this, but I don't feel like that's what I can do right now, is have a place where I have a lot of land and really just create like cabins or something along those lines so that I can host people. And that people can come and really just have an experience in resetting their nervous systems and feeling relaxed. Maybe they bring groups, maybe they come individually, but that is one of my long-term goals and something I have enjoyed so much in the places I've stayed. If you watched my last video about me possibly getting an RV, one of the things I want to do with that is to travel around and actually experience what other people are doing and really learn from that even more so that I can apply that to the future of what I want to do. But right now it feels like the best thing to do to just get my foot in the door is to invest in a home that is within my means right now, and then be able to use that in the future to continue to level up. Something I've talked about a lot in other spaces when it comes to money is just really about scarcity and abundance and manifesting. And I've spent a lot of time just really thinking and reflecting on those things because I grew up in 100% scarcity. There was no financial literacy. I have learned it all. I studied finance for that reason. And that's why I want to kind of bring it in and share with it a little bit here. One of the most important things is that I think that sometimes when we get into this world of abundance and manifesting, there's this idea of like, okay, I'm gonna go and buy this thing or do this thing and the universe is just gonna figure it out for me. But I don't make financial decisions like that, and I actually don't think that that is the way that you're going to level up. I think that that kind of like repeats patterns and behaviors around blindly going into a decision and really just not wanting to take responsibility for, well, what is this actually going to look like? And am I actually going to be able to afford this? I think that a lot of our actual like growth when it comes to our money and finances, and not just literally our money growing, but our mindsets around it, because for me that's been everything, is that when I live within my means right now, I am able to then level up because I am creating solid boundaries. I am not putting myself in a situation where I might not be able to pay my bills or living beyond my means. I actually think that we expand more when we know what is healthy and productive for us. That's where that comes from. Because if somebody gave you millions of dollars right now, if you don't have healthy boundaries now with that, if you're not making decisions that are actually going to help invest for you in the long run, now you're not going to know what to do with that when you have more money. But by making smart decisions right now, it's going to expand me to make further in the future. And also it's like, what do I feel around it? What is my energy? What is lighting me up? What's lighting me up is being excited, knowing that I'm making a decision that's going to allow me to not be stressed about money or the investments I'm making, but being able to really do something right now that allows me to take that next step. So that leads me to the next thing that I'm going to be doing in order to really set myself up for success 10 years from now. All right, so one of the other things I'm doing that I'm so excited about is I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I really think that for me and all of the experiences I've had and what I've tried to do, it's led me to this moment. It's led me to really feeling like my time is now. And I know that. I feel that with everything in me. Rather than trying to do too many things at once, even though there are days when it feels like I am staying very focused on just a few main things and allowing those to grow. Feeling so confident in what I'm creating and knowing that no, it's not going to be right for everybody. It's going to be quality for the people who it is right for. And to really just totally invest in a few things versus spreading myself thin and trying to do too many things. It's hard to describe, but it's like there's just this shift. It feels different this time. And all of this started as I turned 39 a year ago when I said, okay, enough. I don't know exactly what this is all going to lead to, but I'm going to start with one thing right now. And that was actually starting a YouTube channel. For me, I didn't know if I was going to love it, but there was a lot I wanted to share and say, and it just felt like, let me just put it out there and see what happens. I committed to the 1 year. I have loved it. Obviously, it's not this channel, but it has led me to feeling so much more confident and sure about, first of all, I love doing it. I love editing the videos. I love the creativity of it. But by taking that step, it has opened up what the next step is. You know, we don't get to see all the steps by just sitting at home and thinking about it. Every time we take one step, the next one becomes clear to us of what it is. And so this last year has been so valuable for me in feeling more confident in being an entrepreneur, being in that role, identifying as that, and feeling empowered in that and confident enough to sell things and to know that what I'm doing is quality, but to have such clarity on what it is I want to create. One of the things I did this last year is I started an Etsy store. That has been such a huge part of me feeling more confident in selling. I was so nervous at first, and in my store, I am making handmade bowls, and also I sew a lot of different projects. So like pillow covers and bandanas and things like that. So that made me feel a little nervous. These are handmade items that people might really have different thoughts or opinions on or think are not quality enough. But by doing this and putting myself out there and being vulnerable in this way and creating for people and doing it with so much love and intention and getting feedback from people and being open to that, whatever people had to say, but knowing it was just an opportunity to learn, like really removing my ego and learning. This is another thing that has been so significant for me that has led me to this. But when I was doing that, I had no idea what it would open for me. I actually probably won't continue my store in the capacity that I am doing it because I'm not going to have the space necessarily to create things like this by hand and in a timely manner. But it wasn't about that. It was about doing something that opened me up, that helped me to feel vulnerable and helped me to really shake off this scarcity, funky energy that I've had around kind of being worthy or good enough, or knowing that by putting what I create out into the world, it's going to be valued by people, because we all have something in us like that. It's just that we need to get out of our own heads to actually get there. And so through that, there's so many aspects and layers of how I've learned from this, but it's not just about like the selling of it. It is the creation, it's the marketing, it's putting myself out there, it's talking about it, it's getting feedback, it's selling enough and just kind of like being in such a different feeling of it that I don't even remember some of the insecurities that I had when I started. This has been really significant for me and totally investing in and going for the way that I want to show up as an entrepreneur. Okay, and finally, the third way that I'm really investing in myself is through actual investing in the stock market. I also studied this quite extensively, especially about 6 years ago or so. I wanted to learn more. I knew that these ideas that it's only certain people who can invest in the stock market, or that you're going to lose all your money, or things like that, those ideas just were not serving me, and I decided I was not going to believe them so easily. And just like everything else I had learned about money, I realized that so many of my barriers were actually just beliefs or conditioning that I had. I read a book by 𝐓𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐤 and about value investing, and learning about, you can look at the financials of a company and then actually know what the stock should be priced at, and then buying when it is at a deal. Another way that I've been investing is through index funds. Those, I think, if you want to just invest in something and kind of do it and not have to look at it again, index funds, in my opinion, are the way to go. I am not a financial advisor, but I do have my degree in finance and I have studied this myself. So what I share is just based on my personal experience. It's so minimal, the amount of work that you have to do, and people are just not telling you that because they make too much money by doing it for you. But my index fund is at, I believe it was around 30%. Now, if you think about that when it comes to compound interest and where that's going to be in 10 years, that's going to be really significant. I plan to continue to invest in this. I would really encourage you, if it's something you're curious about or looking into, just do a quick little search for index funds. This is not something that came naturally to me or was organic. So this is what I would encourage if you are just getting started and want to put, and you can put 20 bucks in, however much you want. Okay, so I am gonna leave it there today. I do feel really excited. I am kind of just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Because there's a lot of things that I am embarking upon that I have never done before, and that can be really intimidating. But there is something in me, something so deep that I have been listening to and following, and that is my biggest intention with everything, is to live in alignment to what is most true for me, not thinking of anybody else. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean, like, I don't want to be influenced in my life by people's opinions that are not serving me and don't light me up. And so really discovering what that is. Some of that is a very spiritual experience for me, but a lot of it is also me being here, having this human experience. And so that means having money, making money, supporting myself, and learning how to do that in a way that feels really creative and really inspiring and good. Because at the end of the day, money is energy. Everything is energy. It's very much about my relationship to it and the energy that I am putting out and then receiving back. I hope you got something from this. I hope you will consider subscribing to my channel and joining me for my adventures. And if there's a specific topic about money that you would like me to talk about, please just let me know in the comments. I would love to. I will openly share whatever I know, because I am of the belief that there is enough for each of us and that we are stronger together. Just let me know. And I look forward to being with you next time. Bye.